Alrighty. Hey, it's Jill, the health coach, Jill Gordon, and I'm just so excited that you guys are here for your workshop, Reset Mind to Reset Weight. And it's so true that, everything, it dictates everything. Oh, somebody else is joining in. Let me just admit her. So it's so true that our minds truly do dictate every single thing that we do. And that's why I'm so excited to do this workshop for you guys. So feel free to, if you have any questions, feel free. You can just jump right in because if we don't have a ton of people, whatever, you can just jump in or go like this, or I think there's somewhere. Actually, if you do this, I think it raises a hand somewhere. So anyway, but welcome. And I am going to hop right in. I'm going to share my screen. If I can figure out everything here, hopefully technology will cooperate with me. All right, let's go here, screen. And ta-da! Hopefully everybody can see this, that it is the start of my slideshow. You got that? Reset mind to reset weight. So once again, welcome. How to get the most out of this workshop. So the first thing you want to do, and I know I spoke to a couple of you first already, download your workbook. And the link is in all your emails, but also it's jillthehealthcoach.com/reset mind workbook. So I am going to say this a few times as we go through, and just so that everybody who straggles in late still downloads the workbook. The one thing that I did want to do is stress, if you do download it and you want to use the fillable option and not print it out, which you're welcome to do either or, make sure you do a save page as. And what that will do is that will take it out of your computer, out of the tabs of on the internet, and that will save it right to your computer. Otherwise, if you can't do that, because I know a few of you are on iPad, maybe you just want to have the workbook present, and then you could actually write out the answers on a separate piece of paper. Anything, either one works. The only thing is if you don't do a save page as, and you do fillable, like you fill it out in your computer, it may not save. So that's the only thing I caution you. So the first thing, to get the most out of this workshop, I do recommend turning everything off that is operating background, including your email, social media, any other distractions, just so you can, take this time for yourself and really get the most out of it. Also, close your door, do whatever you have to do. And again, in terms of downloading the workbook, you should have that, and we will be ready to go. So let me ask you, show of hands, has anybody ever out there had difficulty getting to the weight you want? I did. I'll share my story soon. Do you ever feel angry at yourself for not having more willpower? Beat yourself up when you binge or eat poorly? I know about that myself. And what about, are you noticing that it's harder than it used to be to get to the weight you want? It is a little bit for me, or it had been. So help is here. If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are in the right place. And here's the thing, you are going to really, truly feel so empowered by the end with what you will learn. So I'm just so glad you guys are all here. You're also in the right place if you want to release that unexplained resistant weight, right? And you're also in the right place if you want to start feeling better about yourself. Everything transcends, right? It's like when you're uncomfortable with something, it just transcends to everything that you do, right? And then you're also in the right place if you want to get lasting results without medications or side effects of any medications or anything like that. Also, in terms of a special bonus I am providing, you are going to learn all of this and so much more. And just make sure you stay to the end so you can get the special guide that will help you start shifting your mindset right away. And I also wanted to say that I will also be making a special offer as well that may be right for you right now. It may not be right for you not right now or not right for you at all. It's up to you, but I just want to tell you ahead that I am going to make you guys an offer just so you are aware. Either way, I'm just glad and I'm just so excited for you to be here because I just know you're going to get so much out of this workshop. So, what are we going to learn? Today, you're going to learn the real foundation when it comes to getting to the weight you want. You are also going to learn how to make your efforts easier and make your results last. You are going to learn the most unsuspecting reason most women sabotage their efforts. Anybody curious? And you're going to also learn two tools that you can use right away to help reset your mind. You're also going to learn how to achieve your weight goals quickly using more in-depth mindset tools and a food plan with a proven program. And that proven program is what I talked about before, which is the offer, which you may or may not be interested in. Totally up to you. But let me just share a little bit about me. My name, again, for those of you who are not aware and don't know, I am Jill Gordon, aka Jill the Health Coach. I am a certified, what's that? Oh, sorry. I am a certified holistic health counselor, a certified clinical hypnotist, certified life coach, and master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming and a few other things. But the most important thing that I do in the end is I help women reset their mind and body from the inside out to finally get to their health and weight goals with ease and clarity. And let me tell you, I was not the person that I, look like today. I had weight struggles. I weighed 50 pounds more than I do today. And at that point, I tried every diet under the sun. We're talking Nutrisystem. We're talking Weight Watchers. We're talking low carb, low fat, low everything. I even, when I was younger, oh wait, is somebody else waiting? Sorry about that. Somebody else coming in. Sorry, I didn't see that. I even tried what's called I made this up, a Kit Kat diet. Because I don't know if you know, but Kit Kats have 210 calories. So if you split those four things and you just have one for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner, then you only have like 210 calories for the day. So that would work, right? Not. So I struggled with everything. I really did. I was, one of four kids and everybody was super skinny. My dad used to eat like a dozen of donuts, literally, and he would gain nothing, zero. And I struggled. I struggled so much that I began closet eating. I had bulimia. If you don't know what that is, it's you throw up after every meal. I mean, it was really bad. So I had, pretty bad body image stuff and I tried to do everything. So I know a thing or two about getting to the weight that you want and the real struggle. So once again, oops, here we go. Sorry. Reminder for anybody who came in late. Hi, Ala. I see you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Download your workbook. Go to either the link in the email or you can just type in jillthehealthcoach.com/reset-mind-workbook. And I want you to use this. It's such a great tool because it will, this is, kind of, we don't have to be interactive with each other necessarily, but I want you to get the most out of this by putting down your thoughts in writing. Okay. So let's start with food is the foundation, isn't it? Everything starts with what you put into your body. And I used to think that it all started with the physical food you put in your body. I helped hundreds of women and men with weight issues or digestive issues and so much more. And we always started with the food on their plate, and it worked. The introduction of food that nourished their bodies and then eliminated some that didn't serve them made a huge difference. And many realized that the food they were eating was the root cause of many of their symptoms. But how can we make these results stick though? What happened was, despite how amazing they felt and how they looked, some people just drifted back to old habits. Anybody ever do that? They drifted back to their old habits and then reignited their symptoms all over again. And some just struggled to begin with. So the question is, I realized that the physical food was only part of it. Was there more to it than just the food? I realized that that food for the brain was just as important up here. It all starts here, and maybe even more so. You see, whenever we try something new, we need to plant different or better thoughts in our brain just as we make different dietary changes. So if we talk to ourselves the same exact way we did before making dietary shifts, then we are much more likely to drift back to our old ways. And that's because our brain or self-talk never adjusted. Has this happened to you? I know it's happened to me. So then what happens? You beat yourself up and you feel disappointed again. And you know what? It's so counterproductive. We all know this instinctively. But now you just think now, how does your body react, right? Imagine you being upset and stressed out. So how do you think that affects your body? If you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this again. I can't believe this. So what happens? Your body actually tightens up and contracts. Your body can't even function close to the way it should because it's so tense. And then your organs can't even work properly. Your colon is so constricted. And now there's no way any nutrients are going to get absorbed. And to make it worse, when your colon is so tight, you can't even excrete waste. And because it gets stuck in your colon, and then your body can start to absorb toxins, and that's like the catalyst, right, to making it even worse. Does that make sense? Our body does listen to us, listens to our thoughts. So what we have to do first is shift our thinking first. I mean, I know this is big, but let's think about it. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. I mean, Albert Einstein, that's brilliant, right? And, it's so funny. You think of the things that he did, but he was all about mindset and energy, and he understood this so well. So I realized that when making any type of change, whether diet or trying to create a new habit to get out of an old one, we have to shift our thinking first. Otherwise, we may simply drift back to our old habits. For example, if you need to release weight, you know what to do and you've tried to eat better, right? Then you have a setback. How often do we have a setback, right? And then you beat yourself up for not having any willpower. And then many just give up after that and we're just like, screw it. And we're just going back to our old ways. So it can be this really vicious cycle if we don't get our mind in the right place. I'm hoping this is starting to make sense to everyone. So first we have to understand that, your body responds to everything you tell it. It listens, it does, it hears you, and it feels you. As Dr. Mark Hyman put it, this quote was from him. He says that every cell in your body is constantly listening to your thoughts. So every time you beat yourself up, every cell and organ responds. So think about it. If you're beating yourself up and you get stressed out, your body does what? It constricts, right? It responds. So, for example, you can actually, so I guess, in the slide, you can get either a relaxed response or a stress response, but also you can actually manifest healing or disease. So I have a story of a close friend of mine, and she had told me for years, that her aunt had breast cancer and that she would probably get it because it's obviously hereditary. I mean, this was her thought the whole time. And, I kept saying, like, don't say that, don't say that. And this was before I even knew any of this stuff. Well, she ended up getting breast cancer. And I have to say, I wasn't all that surprised because she had been putting it into her brain. Well, I'm just going to get it anyway. I'm just going to get it anyway. And I'm not saying that's the total cause, but I'm sure it actually did contribute to it. Now, Thankfully, she did recover and she's doing really well, thank God. But I just believe that her thoughts played such a role, again, because she expected it. Now, conversely, there are people who overcome incredible obstacles, and that's because their head was in a different place. So there's this case where there's this famous author and speaker. His name is Hal Elrod. Has anyone ever heard of him? It's called The Miracle Morning. He wrote this book, The Miracle Morning. Great book. So anyway, he was told he had a rare form of cancer and he only had 1 year to live. Now, I think he was in his 30s and he had young children. And he's like, no, thank you. And you know what? Because he was so determined that he was not accepting this diagnosis, he willed it away with his unwavering belief, unwavering, and he believed that he was going to heal. And guess what? His body did listen to his thoughts, and his mission is now to share his experience with everyone who will listen. You see, negative thoughts can bring on negative results just as much as positive thoughts can bring about positive results. So I have manifested things before. And let me tell you, manifestation is really, thoughts taking actions to get there, because it's not just gonna, you can't just put the thought in the air, you have to take action, but it motivates you to take the right action and then your body responds. So here's the thing. We are all magicians. Every word you say and every action you take creates your reality. So, fun fact, abracadabra is actually a Hebrew word and it means as I speak, I create. So, if you tell yourself that you have no willpower or you can't do this or you're stupid or whatever, your body will try to act on whatever it is that you tell it. So, how do we start giving ourselves better thoughts? It may sound simple, but perhaps it's not so easy unless you know how. But the point is, it is up to you. Us. We are in charge of our own destiny. So, what thoughts do you tell yourself? So, for anyone else who may have come in late, again, I just want to emphasize we are now going to go into our workbooks. So, if you haven't done so, go to jillthehealthcoach.com/reset-mind-workbook. If you are going to do it on the computer, just do a save page as, and that way it will download to your computer, and whatever you fill in the workbook, it will be saved to your computer. Otherwise, you can print it out or whatever you want to do. But the point is, I want you to go to page 1. And I am going to stop the share for a moment. And I have my workbook right here. And I want you to go to page 1. All right, you got it. I love it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is what thoughts or stories do you tell yourself? Everybody have this? So, here's the thing. We talk to ourselves, right? Some are positive, but some are negative. So what I want you to do is list down some positive thoughts and some negative thoughts you have. So I want you to just take a minute. Oh, if I was smart, I would have had like little timer music. Do, do, do. But I do want you to just take a minute, a full minute, and I want you to write down. I'm going to do this myself because you know what? It changes. It changes all the time. So I want you to write down some positive thoughts and some negative thoughts. Okay, and just raise your hand when you're done. All right. Just do 30 seconds. Okay, hopefully that's enough time to come up with a few things. You always have a chance later. So now I love that you've got your positive stuff, but I know you've got some negative stuff, right? So now what I want you to do with your negative stuff is reverse it. Okay. So if you've got like something negative, I want you to put like something like, I have no willpower, right? I want you to cross off, no, I have willpower. Okay. I feel stuck. Make it positive. I feel unstuck. Okay. Either put a not or a no in front of the negative, make it positive. Everything positive. Because again, our thoughts, our body listens to our thoughts. And let me know when you're done. Give me an idea. All righty. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. So I'm hoping I gave you just a little more clarity of what's going on. And this is all about clarity. You know, sometimes just when we write stuff down, stuff comes out that we, don't think about. And again, with the changing negative, I know sometimes like you're like, yeah, but Jill, it's not true. Like I'm in a situation that like really sucks right now. And, I can't just, make it not true. But you know what? Do that anyway, because here's the thing. When we focus on the good and that the positive, something positive can come out of it, then we are more likely to get that. Okay, makes sense? All right. So now there's the F word. What could that be? It's actually forgiveness. I hope nobody else was thinking of the other F word. So let's so let's the trick to releasing and making those negative thoughts positive, the trick also is forgiveness. And here's the thing about forgiveness. It's about releasing others or releasing you. And why, you know what? It just feels so much better than beating ourselves up. And just the word alone, say it out loud, say it to yourselves, forgiveness. It's just so calming, that word. And here's the thing, guys. We are not perfect and we all make mistakes or do things we wish we hadn't. But our true selves are more in a more reflection of how we respond to situations or just in life. So the thing is, we do have a choice. We can either make things worse or we can acknowledge them and then forgive. So when you think about it, the truth is forgiveness is what? It's unlocking the door to set someone free and realizing you were the prisoner all along. And I have stories about a lot of people with people harboring stuff that they think that they can't forgive and let go. And, the only problem is we're the ones that are affected the most by it because that stress, what does that do? If you are so angry with other people, the stress, what does it do? It it causes our whole body to constrict. And just like I keep saying before, the stress response is real and it goes into your whole body. and it constricts your colon, which means that you're holding on to toxins. It constricts, like you can't even eat food because you can't digest it, because you can't get to the nutrients, because the colon is all tight. You can't get certain stuff. And it can cause more problems, physical problems, than you would even think. And, here's the thing, sometimes we hear in the news of how a family of a victim forgave the offender. And to some, it just seems like, unfathomable, but here's what's important. It's to dig deep to define what forgiveness really is and who it is for. And just remember, again, forgiveness is not letting people off the hook for what they did, and certainly not giving permission for recurrence at all. It's not even the same as reconciling or forgetting. It's none of that. It's more about letting go in favor of peace. So it may not change the past, and it's not going to, obviously, but it can change your future. And that's the most important thing to, to really understand. And I just wanted to, reiterate why forgiveness is so important. I wanted to share a story, a great story about one of my favorite octogenarian clients. She had a heartbreaking family issue where one of her children stopped speaking to the whole family. It was a whole long drawn out thing. It was nothing that she did, but you can imagine this tore her up inside. And, I talked to her about forgiveness, and it was with much hesitation and difficulty, but she agreed to try. And she said it was super hard at first, but when she fell into it, she was finally at peace. And she felt such a sense of calm. And this calm is the state the body needs to be in to heal anything or go back to balance naturally. So I'm hoping that I made a good enough argument so that, we can think about forgiving other people, but not just other people, but ourselves, right? So forgive and just talk nicer to yourself. We say things to ourselves that we would never, ever, ever say to anyone else. For example, would you ever tell someone else, well, I know I've done this to myself. Let me preface by saying, I said to myself, you are so weak and stupid, for giving in to those cookies or whatever. I really beat myself up. But would you ever say this to anyone else? Would you ever say this? We need to train ourselves to forgive and then rephrase in a positive term to ourselves. So, for example, if you gave in to the temptation of cookies or whatever it was, forgive yourself and say, you know what? It's in the past and there's nothing you can do. So for now, I choose to eat food that's nutritious and that makes me feel good, or just say that bowl of fruit sounds delicious to me, but just never use negative language like, I don't want those cookies. Don't say that, because you know what? Your brain only hears cookies and want. All right. This is all about rephrasing to your brain. It does not distinguish between the positive and the negative. So only ask for what you do want. I know it sounds silly and I know it's semantics, but your body listens and it really works. And I just had this whole situation with a client, and she was complaining about foods that she was restricted from eating. And I'm like, you are telling yourself the wrong way. Because here's the thing. You're talking about foods that you restrict. All your body language, all your mind here is restriction. Restriction doesn't sound good. So what you should be saying to yourself is, well, there's so many other options that I can have. And that's how you do this. And I know she's just so logical. And she's like, but they're a restriction. I'm like, but they're not. You don't need to pay attention to the restrictions. Pay attention to what you can have and what will nourish you, and do that. And I hope that makes sense, because it really is key in making these shifts. So the bottom line is that it's all about starting with forgiveness, because that is what is going to give you that release. So who do you need to forgive? We are now on to page 2. I'm going to stop the share for a second just to mix things up so you can see me. I don't know if you want to or not, but here you go. This is my kind of low-tech way of showing you page 2 of forgiveness. So I want you to start filling in The F word, forgiveness. So, what I want you to do here is list people that cause you stress or anger. Maybe one of them is you. I know I am so guilty of that many times, and I'm constantly working on myself also. So, I want you to write how you would feel if you were to forgive them. So, for example, and this is a long time ago, and this kid scarred me for years, but I chose to forgive him. I forgive Eric R. He used to torment me when I was a kid, and he made me feel ugly and undeserving of love. And he scarred me by calling me names. And to this day, the word beatnik, oof, even saying it, I've come to peace with it, but it has scarred me for years. Every time I would hear that word, I'm like, oh my God, my body would tense up and everything. And once I chose to forgive him with this, I'm like okay with it now. And my example continues. I'm releasing this because it will finally let me be at peace, and I can now release it. So it is in my past. But no longer impacts me. And I can feel love from others and not be surprised or even guarded by that. So I want you to take a moment and think about who you are going to forgive. And I'm going to write something new myself because I am doing this along with you guys. So I want you to write a few, maybe they're other people, maybe they're yourself, but write at least two people that you want to forgive. And then when you write who you're forgiving, because it will make me feel, and that's so important in the other column, because it will make me feel. I don't know about you, but as I'm writing the because it will make me feel, my body is responding. I mean, I literally am feeling this, like I felt my shoulders kind of like drop a little bit because I was kind of beating myself up for some business stuff that I just ran out of time to do and everything. And when I did because it'll make me feel, it just to forgive yourself is huge, and just even other people when you feel so out of control with other people with what they're doing because you have no control over them. When you forgive them, again, it's about how it makes you feel. So just take a few more seconds to finish up there. I hope that you're getting the same type of relief in your body that I certainly did. Okay. Hopefully, does anyone need a little more time? Are you good? Okay, we're gonna continue on. Now, whew, telling you that really, I'm gonna take a little sip of water after that. Okay, I always have my water handy, by the way. Best thing in the world. Anyway, gratitude. Gratitude is huge. Again, this is all, if you haven't caught the theme here, it's all about sending positivity, these messages to our brain. The more positivity we can send, the more calm, the better we feel, everything, right? So there is gratitude, right? And let me tell you, everyone has something to be grateful for. See, when we start actively being more grateful for all you have, your brain starts thinking in a more positive light, and that's when the magic happens. So what I have found, this is just so effective. And because I have found that this is just so pivotal and it's just an ongoing thing, I now have all my clients take these simple steps to make massive changes in their mindset by showing gratitude. So, first, I have them buy a journal or a little spiral notebook, whatever it may be. And then, and actually, here's mine right here. This is my notebook. I every morning I write what I'm grateful for, among other things. So what I do is I have them write, leave the journal in the bathroom. I keep it literally in the top drawer right next to the toilet. And while I'm sitting on the toilet, I literally write out my gratitudes every single morning. It's the first thing that I do in the morning when I wake up, and I write down at least three things that I'm grateful for. And it can be anything. It can be that you're grateful for seeing a friend or family that day, or even that the sun is shining. How often have I been grateful that the weather was nice so I could go out running or whatever it was? It doesn't matter. Just write down three. And but here's the trick with the gratitudes. You have to write down three within 2 minutes. It's got to be fast because you just want it just to come from your mind, whatever comes first from your subconscious. You just want it to flow right onto your piece of paper without thinking too much. And again, when you get it from your subconscious, then it flows like then it's sinking in. The positivity is sinking right back in to your subconscious. And 2 minutes, close the journal. And then at night, before you go to bed, write in your journal. And you know what? Even a lot of times I just forget, I admit it. But what I do, no matter what, is if you write it down or think it, write down one positive thing that happened to you during the day and one act of kindness, either that was bestowed upon you or that you did for somebody else. So always, and here's my also other trick. Always do it with a smile on your face. Literally, I look so silly at night because I'm literally sitting there with a smile on my face and I'm thinking about these positive things. And, no matter how you may not feel like doing it, force yourself because it will set you up for a good night's sleep. And think about it. What are you doing when you're sleeping? You're going through your subconscious mind. So you want to seep all that positivity into your subconscious mind, even if you had the worst of worst days and you're like, nothing was good, everything sucked. There's always something positive. Seriously, no matter what, there's always something positive, and you just want it going into your subconscious mind so it can percolate while you sleep. And here's the deal, if you're not totally aware, we all have a subconscious brain and a conscious brain. And your conscious brain is what you are thinking actively. Like right now, we are now consciously speaking. You're consciously aware of what I'm saying because you're actively listening. But your subconscious brain is what your body really listens to as it's on autopilot. It's how we know how to stop at a red light or just go when it turns green. We don't have to think about it. For example, have you ever driven home and your thoughts were elsewhere on the ride home, but all of a sudden you magically show up in your driveway and you just don't even remember how you got home? Well, that's your subconscious. So we just want to get everything into our subconscious because the truth is our subconscious is 95% of responsible for what we do in life. And our conscious brain really is only 5%. It's like an iceberg effect, how the out of the iceberg that we actually see is such a small portion of what actually exists underneath that we don't see. And that's exactly what your subconscious mind is. So now we are on to page 3. So just to, again, mix it up a little bit, we'll come back. Again, page 3, we are now on gratitude. So what I'd like you to do right now is write down quickly in the next 2 minutes and just write down things that you are grateful for. So write them down super quick. I'm going to do that too. And 3 things real quick. Okay, did everyone finish? Okay, we're doing it really, really quick. I'll give you a second to finish up. That actually wasn't quite 2 minutes. I was just zipping away for mine. And while you are finishing up, I will go back to sharing my screen. Okay, all righty. Now, again, it all starts with our thoughts. Because here's the thing. How do we get that loving feeling? Okay, it starts with our thoughts. It creates a belief, which inspires a behavior, which creates a feeling. Does that make sense? So let's say, okay, a thought. Let's just say with weight. Okay, a thought. Okay, I want to release 5 pounds, right? So that's my thought. That is my thought. That's what I want. Now we have to create a belief around it though, right? I know I can do it. I know what to do. I know I can stick to it. I'm going to do it. That is my belief because I know I've done it before, but my belief is that I absolutely can do it. But now you have to take action, right? It's not just going to come out of thin air, right? It's not like the book The Secret where they're just like, if you think about it, it will come, you know. You have to take action, right? But that belief will inspire the behavior, right? So now all of a sudden you've got this behavior of like, you know what? I'm going to eat like super healthy tonight. You know, I'm going out to dinner and I just, you know what? I chose the fish and I chose the grilled fish and I chose the vegetables and now you now created this feeling of like, yes, I did it. And I did it because I know I can do it. Now, is this all making sense? I hope it does because if you understand the process, like we all go through this process, we just don't realize that we're doing it. But when you understand the process, it makes it so much more easy, right? So now we're going to head over to, again, I'm behind here, the next page. How do you want to feel? Okay, so thoughts are created again. They create a belief, which inspires a behavior, which creates how you feel. So, what are the five biggest feelings you want to get from getting to the weight you want? Okay, so write them down right now. Examples I use was freedom, confidence, control, attractive light, but whatever works for you, I want you to write that down. It's funny, as I was writing them down, I realized that I actually even did write the same one twice without even realizing it. And when you do that, that's when you know that's a really important feeling that you want to experience. So I want you to really reflect on that, right? Something about when you write stuff down, it's amazing. Oops, it's amazing how it just gets into your body, right? It just that hand to brain type thing makes it sink in a lot more. So let's go over a recap. The real foundation to get to the weight you want is dun, da, da, da. I think we all figured this out. We need to change the food for the brain with positivity, forgiveness, and gratitude. And I hope you all see the power in that. And then also how to get long lasting results and get into the weight you want. We have to change the way we talk to ourselves and just be kinder and forgive on a consistent basis. That's a thing. When we start forgetting to do this, that's when we realize what's happening when we drift off. It's because we're not doing these things. Also, what's the most unsuspecting reason women sabotage their results? It's their thoughts. And it is. This is what we do all the time. And again, it's just like creating habit. And sometimes it's hard, you fall off because you're not thinking, but excuse the pun, you're not thinking about it. But it really is our thoughts. And we just sometimes have to keep reminding ourselves to keep thinking in a certain way until it becomes habit, because our body is going to act on whatever it is told. So we create better thoughts. And then tools to start shifting your mindset right away. The two tools, believe it or not, is your gratitude journal and forgiveness. And I know that sometimes you might, people will eye roll, and I'm hoping that going through these exercises, you are realizing the value of it. And, just a story in terms of gratitude that I forgot to share. When I was younger, my sister was like the happiest person. She was almost like to this point that it was annoying, right? It was like she'd go to bed with a smile on her face. She woke up with a smile on her face, and she slept with a smile on her face. And I used to make fun of her all the time until I was older, and I was just like, because I was always like Miss Negativity. I was always glass half empty and always critical. And my brother used to even call me Miss Criticalia because I was always critical. And then I realized I'm like, I want to be more like her. But I thought it was more of an instinctive thing. Well, how can I do that? And once I started with my gratitude practice, I'm telling you, that's how I made the shift. You think that you can't change yourself, but that was huge. And I'm so much more positive today than I ever was. And I am so grateful that I discovered this tool of writing down my gratitude. So I hope that that can motivate you guys. And listen, a lot of you are already super positive, but it can just reinforce it even more by just adding this practice. And then just, you know, again, we shared so much, and you can use this great information I shared with you today to help you start the necessary mind shifts to get you started or get to the weight you want, or you can get up and go a lot faster and easier with my program, Reboot with Real Food. So it is about detoxing your mind and body, and it's proven. I've been doing this for a few years, and some of you know who've already been in my programs, and you've seen the results that you can have. And I've had just, I don't know, probably over 1,000 rebooters at this point that have seen amazing results. So it's Reboot with Real Food. It's a 14-day detox solution. And, I was talking about this the other day, and the reason that I make it 14 days is because so many times, we just think, we look at the big picture. Oh my God, I got to get to what on the scale or do this or whatever. Oh my God, it's so overwhelming, and we end up doing nothing. And I always say, what we can do, if you do small chunks or commit yourself for a small amount of time, it's just much easier to get there. So anybody can do anything for 2 weeks. And for those of you who are familiar with the program, know that the food part is only 10 days of it. So anybody can stick to a food program for 10 days. And that's all I'm going to ask you to commit to for this program. And that will help you get started. So, what is Reboot with Real Food? It builds upon the great foundation of mindset shifts that no one else offers in other programs. I really just don't find it. And it takes it to an even higher level with an easy to follow plan with daily support and so much more. So, let me ask you, does this sound like you? Maybe you feel like you're doing everything right, but still not getting the results that you want. Maybe you're working out and watching what you eat. Like, what's going on? Because you still struggle with that extra weight, especially around the middle. Ladies, anybody in our age group, 40s up, 50s, almost 60, dare I say? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I just wanted to play this. This is a client. This is Debbie.
Losing 5 pounds, but even more than that, at the end, I ended up having so much energy. I was racing through things on my to-do list that had been there for months and months and months. And I just felt great. So I would highly recommend this. There's so much support from the book that you get, from the conference calls and the Facebook I really highly recommend it.
Awesome. And I love Debbie, and she saw some great results. So, what do you get? You get with Reboot with Real Food, you get a more in-depth mindset training to ease through your program with lasting results. You get a proven program to uncover the source of the stubborn weight villains, I call them. Because that's the whole thing, right? It's chipping away. Okay, what the heck is it that's really causing me this challenge? And that's what we find. And then you get daily support with emails and a private Facebook community. You get step-by-step videos with recipes and daily protocols. You get meal plans, family-friendly recipes, family-friendly, yes, kids like them too, and shopping lists and a guidebook and 2 live conference calls. We've got our first kickoff call starting on Thursday, and that value is $349. And then after completing Reboot with Real Food, you will get lasting results that will, the shifts that you made and how you learn to nourish your brain. And I've got some new things actually to help continue for just, with anybody who's been through the program before. I've got new and improved stuff all the time. And I just wanted to show Cindy. She was a beautiful client of mine, and she was down 50 pounds. She just, it was unbelievable the difference that she went through, the transformation she went through. And it wasn't obviously over 14 days. She continued, but it was the foundation that she learned with Reboot with Real Food, and that helped propel her. And we also have amazing bonuses. Bonus number one is you get a fave foods and condiment swaps, which is awesome. So you can still have your cake and eat it too in some ways, right? You get a Reboot with Real Food recipe book, an additional recipe book with amazing recipes, Reboot with Real Food workbook. And you want to, that's so you can track your progress, and which is really amazing because we always forget where we were, right? We always know where we are. We get a 30-minute individual call, and I'm trying to do that now right when you start, because that way it'll set you up for an even better program. We can figure out what are those challenges that you have, that you most struggle with, and that way we can start to propel ourselves forward in an easier way when we address the things that you're challenged with most. And then there's a guided meditation, because again, this is all about de-stressing, right? De-stressing your whole body, and that way you can get to the results that you want. So the total bonuses, they are valued at $276. But what does it cost? Reboot with Real Food, it's valued at $349, with the bonuses rather, are $276. So the total value is $625, but you get it for only $167. So hopefully that appeals to you. Lee, oh my gosh, I love Lee. I'm going to read hers. I have to put my glasses on. I can't see, it's so small. She recommends me. I forgot how to eat in a healthy way to lose weight and sustain the weight loss. I wasn't sure what to do anymore since I've yo-yo dieted for years, and I joined Jill's programs and realized I could eat delicious, healthy food, lose weight, and not cut out carbs completely. She learned what a healthy carb is and when to eat them to lose weight and keep it off. I've lost about 7 pounds and will keep using the tools Jill taught me to lose all the unwanted weight I have gained over the past few years. Thank you, Jill, for showing me how to eat healthy foods again. Love this program and loved working with you, Jill. Finally, I found a sustainable eating plan that works and is good for me. And the best part is there is a money back guarantee. If you find that it doesn't work for you, I will give you every penny back. And here's the deal. You have to make some sort of a change, right? Einstein, once again, said it best. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? We have to make some sort of change. So the next program starts Thursday. It's April 20th to May 3rd. I know some of you are signed up already, but I hope this is motivating you to even, get more excited. And if you did sign up, maybe you want to, go with a friend, share it with a friend, and then you could even do it together, which is really fun. I've had groups of women do it together, and they have great results, and they had so much fun doing it too, because they shared recipes with each other and everything, and it was a lot of fun. So does anybody have any questions that you have? I know I covered a lot. Any questions? And you could just show by, hands, did this workshop make sense for you? Did this give you any type of clarity with your own situation? And maybe some stuff that you want to work on. Awesome. That's all I want. I mean, honestly, guys, even if you don't join in, obviously, it's not just about that. I'm just so grateful that if I can give you even just one thing that you can take with you and really made a difference in your life, then honestly, that is my that's what I'm so excited for. And let me know if there was one thing I would love to hear because that makes me so happy. And also remember about that special bonus for workshop participants only. Thank you for hanging around to the very end. Special guide to make the mindset shifts. It's important to know that any weight struggles you have are not your fault. We are actually pre-wired to think in terms of scarcity. And I want you to know this because it really is so important. This is one reason that foods wise, we may never overeat or eat the wrong foods. So anyway, I just want you to know that you can switch this off by signaling our brains with different messaging, with language, and how we envision ourselves in the future. So again, Henry Ford said it right. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Again, it's all up here. So here's the link for the special guide. All you have to do is go to jillthehealthcoach.com. You can make a screenshot if you need to. jillthehealthcoach.com/making dash the dash mindset dash shifts. So it's shifts plural. So take advantage of that. It's just a nice little bonus. And again, I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for joining in. And if you have any questions or anything that you do have, feel free. You can ask me now. But I will end this right now in terms of the recorded session. I'm just, again, so grateful that you guys are here. And if you have any questions, you can always know where to find me, Jill at jillthehealthcoach.com. And I look forward to seeing those of you who are joining Reboot with Real Food. It starts Thursday. And thank you again. Anybody, questions or anything?
On Thursday, will we have the link already to for our
Yes.
meeting? Okay,
Absolutely. Yes, you
okay.
have all of that there. Everything is ready.